At first, a little global warming might not seem like such a bad idea. After all, many people would actually prefer to have a slightly warmer climate than what they currently experience. However, there are a number of consequences of global warming and climate change, and many of these consequences would prove very costly to both the environment and to humanity. First of all, if rainfall patterns shift, this would affect many areas of the world, especially those which grow crops. Many areas are planting the crops which are adapted to the amount of rainfall that this area typically gets. As rainfall patterns shift, this could make it more difficult to produce agricultural harvests in many parts of the world. Increases in temperature can affect different crops differently. For example, increases in the minimum temperatures during the dry season decreases the productivity of rice crops significantly. Increased temperatures can worsen heat waves. The European heat wave in the year 2003 produced the hottest European temperatures of the past 500 years. It may have caused 70,000 premature deaths in Europe, with 15,000 in France alone. The number of emergency room visits often increases during heat waves, especially among elderly individuals and those with respiratory problems. Global warming and climate change may not only change the rainfall patterns and how much rain an area will receive, it may affect how much rain falls in individual events. The number of extreme rainfall events is not only increasing, but increasing at a rate greater than what was previously predicted. Not only is there an increase in the number and intensity of hurricanes, but also the frequency of severe thunderstorms and rainstorms has been increasing in many areas of the United States, including the eastern states. As a result, the number and severity of floods has been increasing in many areas. When calculating the costs of global warming and climate change, the costs of these floods and other extreme weather events must be taken into consideration. Extreme weather events such as sudden frost or snow and hailstorms, when weather is usually warmer, can damage crops, can cause ice and snow to break tree limbs, which are heavier once they still have leaves on them, which break power lines. All of this can be very costly, whether to restore power or to replace crops which have been killed. So these extreme weather events can be very costly. Extreme weather events can bring high winds, which can be very damaging to trees, break trees and cause power outages, etc. So these storm events can be very costly. In summary, there have always been weather catastrophes and severe weather events which have caused deaths and damage to property. Unfortunately, global warming and climate change will make these more frequent and more severe. And so when we think of the cost in terms of human lives and the cost to societies to deal with flooding, power outages, damage to crops, etc., the increased frequency of severe weather events will be a negative outcome of global warming and climate change. In the year 2011, for example, there were 14 weather events which caused more than $1 billion in damage. This was a record for the United States. The previous record had only been 9.